Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are digging into something most of us think we understand, but we might just have it completely backwards. I'm talking about meditation. We're always told the whole point is to clear our minds. But what if that's not just hard? What if it's the wrong goal entirely?
I mean, we've all heard it, right? Just empty your mind. Think of nothing. It sounds so simple, almost relaxing just to hear it. But what if that one piece of popular advice is the very thing that's been holding you back from what meditation really offers?
This is the exact question at the heart of our source material today, from the teachings of a well-known Buddhist master. It's such a simple point, but it's also incredibly deep. If you start with the wrong map, well, you're never going to find your destination. So, what's the right map?
Okay, this comparison just cuts right through all the noise. The common idea we all hear is, just stop all your thoughts. But the master makes this brilliant logical point. If thinking nothing was the real goal, then, rocks and logs would be the most enlightened things on the planet. So the real practice, it's not about not thinking, it's about learning to think in a totally different way.
To get that answer, we're going to straight to the source. The master's teachings are all based on this ancient text, it's 1,300 years old, called the Sutra of Perfect Enlightenment. And what's amazing is that it gives a surprisingly detailed roadmap for anyone trying to practice today.
And this is where things get really interesting. See, the sutra doesn't just give one single one-size-fits-all method. It actually gets that people are different, so it lays out 3 completely distinct paths you can take.
The sutra calls them by their original names, which you can see here, but honestly, don't worry about memorizing the terms. What's really important is getting what each path is trying to do. So let's just break down what each one actually is. So the sutra gives us these 3 really beautiful analogies. The first path, samatha, is all about stillness and calm, kind of like seeing a perfect reflection in a mirror. The second, tamabhatite, is about understanding illusion, like watching grains slowly grow from the earth. But for this explainer, we're going to focus on that third path, Dhyana. It's all about transcending obstacles, and the analogy for it is a sound escaping from a vase.
So let's zoom in on Dhyana, because this is where we get to the real work. It completely reframes the goal. You're not trying to force your way into some quiet, empty space. No. You're trying to clearly see what's making all the noise to begin with. And the source of all that noise, well, it might just surprise you.
And this brings us to this amazing paradox. The single biggest thing standing in your way is what you think of as you. Now, I know that sounds like a riddle, but the sutra makes a really specific and helpful distinction here.
The sutra lays out 2 main obstacles, the body obstacle and the mind obstacle. And the core teaching of Dhyana is this. Your physical body and that non-stop chatter in your mind, that's not the real you. They're just phenomena that you need to observe, almost like you'd observe the weather. They're temporary states, not the sky itself.
Okay, so if my body and my mind are just obstacles, how in the world do I observe them without just getting completely tangled up in them? This is the how-to part. This is the practical guide.
The master uses this brilliant banana analogy. Think about it. Anybody can just blankly stare at a banana. But a real observer, a true observer, investigates it. They ask, what's it made of? Where did it come from? What does it do for my body? That same deep, curious investigation is exactly what we need to apply to our own thoughts and feelings.
This investigation leads to a really clear 4-step process. First, you just recognize that your thoughts and your urges are not the real you, they're just obstacles. Second, you investigate, where did these patterns come from? Your genetics, your culture, your family. Third, you practice detachment. You start to stop automatically following every single impulse. And when you do that, you begin to enter a state that the sutras calls light ease. And that is the very first taste of genuine thing practice.
So let's get even more specific about that mind obstacle. The sutra says it's basically run by a kind of hidden programming inside us. And this programming is made up of 5 core problems, or afflictions. This programming has a name, Sur Tri Chung. And the translation is just fantastic. It means the trap of what you know. It's literally everything you've learned, your opinions, your culture, your ideas, that you have started to mistake for absolute reality. It's the filter you see everything through
and it's the foundation of that mind obstacle.
And this trap is powered by what the teachings call the 5 poisons. First, you've got Tom, or greed. And this isn't just about money. It's that feeling of needing one more piece of pizza or needing more likes on a post. Then there's Sun, or anger, that feeling of friction when you're stuck in traffic. C is ignorance, which is just that classic, scattered, wandering monkey mind. Man is arrogance, that subtle but powerful need to feel just a little bit better than someone else. And last is Ni, doubt, that habit of just spinning in circles, second-guessing everything. These aren't some big, abstract sins. They are the everyday mental habits we have to learn to watch.
So what happens when we actually start to observe and detach from these so-called poisons? Well, the text gives us one last beautiful metaphor to tie it all together.
A disciple in the text offers this incredible insight. He says, we're like a fish swimming around desperately looking for the great ocean. The 5 poisons are like mud that we keep stirring up in the water, making us feel lost and confused and separate. But when we learn to just let that mud settle by observing it instead of reacting to it, we have this incredible aha moment. We realize we've been in the ocean the whole time.
And when you get right down to it, it all comes back to this. Just 2 things: identifying with our body and identifying with our mind. These 2 obstacles create the entire illusion that we are somehow separate from everything else.
And that's why the real point of all of this, the point of truth, the end, isn't about escaping. It's a process of realization. The goal isn't to break out of a prison, it's to finally see that the prison door was never actually locked.
Which leaves us with one final thought for you to take with you. What might actually change in your life, starting right now, if you just practiced shifting your identity? If you stopped being the thought, or being the feeling, and instead just started becoming the one who is quietly and curiously watching it all go by?